Hey guys, I am back this week since I decided to skip last week for whatever reason. Well, just because I kept putting it off, really. But this week though, I want to go back to talking about league stuff a little bit, and I'm gonna start talking about Riot and the Riot balance team and how they handle champions and what I don't like about it, really. Um, Somebody that I'm going to use as a big example right now is Kha'Zix, man. Because you guys remember, like, the 20 different changes that Kha'Zix had before they finally just kind of nerfed the shit out of him? Yeah, that's how Riot works. For some reason, the Riot team doesn't like. I mean, I guess with Kha'Zix, they did kind of adjust some numbers here and there, but then they just kind of just cut it all off and said, okay, you know what? We're just going to fuck him up. So they took away a lot of his dive potential, which is what made Kha'Zix an incredibly good jungler in the first place. So it's probably a good thing that they got rid of his percentage damage reduction on his ulti because it fucking was ridiculous. He could dive for fucking 30 hours and still not care and kill the entire team and then just hop out like nothing happened. It was a pain in the ass. So they got rid of that. And then they changed his Q, which no longer does isolation damage. It just, well, no, it still does isolation damage. It just doesn't do like 40% more damage or 35 or whatever it was. It now does 10 times champion level plus 1.2, 1.2 something like that of new or of extra damage. So it seems like they kind of made him a better laner. But here's the thing: they decided just out of nowhere that we're gonna throw on onto his W 20% more damage to jungle creeps because that was necessary. Because his clear wasn't the best. I can understand why they did that. And then they kind of nerfed his ability to dive and gank, which is what made him just OP as shit. And now they've got this weird Kha'Zix that not many people play because he can't dive. He doesn't do a ton of damage like he used to, even though his Q can still do a crap load of damage. People are still just not playing him, and the reason why is because they kind of over nerfed him. Another great example is Jax. Jax has been receiving small number buffs and nerfs just kind of like discreetly almost. Like there hasn't been a big Jax change in years, which makes you wonder how did all of a sudden he come out of nowhere and become like the most OP shit in the fucking game, the most ridiculous jungler, top laner, and just all around team stomper that there freaking is. And the problem, what my short answer is going to be, is because they've nerfed everybody else. So there was nothing besides freaking the small number changes in Jax to become the new OP because they nerfed the crap out of Renekton's. Well, they didn't nerf the crap out of Renekton. They kind of adjusted his power. But all these top laners that were that were good and are on the same level or better than him. Just like a few patches ago, Nasus was a big deal. Nasus could get too huge. He was too good in the jungle. He was too good in the top lane. If he farmed at all, he would destroy entire teams. He can still kind of do that, but not as easily as he used to, and that's because he got nerfed. But the same thing happened whenever, what was it, they nerfed his Wither. So you had like an insanely good Nasus, and then they nerfed his Wither, then he went away for like 2 weeks, and then they nerfed something else, and then Nasus came back because that was like, it's like with Riot, it's like everybody is at their different level, and then there's always that one person that's at the top level, and then there's somebody like waiting right down here, and as soon as this person gets nerfed, then they go down, then everybody switches over to this guy because he's slightly better all of a sudden. And I think that was it's like you see it all the time because the champions never change. You're never gonna get like new out off the wall champions. Like I guess sometimes you'll see like a Quinn top or something, but these champions just keep rotating on, like it's like a list. It's like, okay, this person's gonna be at the top. All right, now we're gonna put him at the bottom, and then the list just keeps going. Boop, back at the top. Let's drop him back down. It just, the changes keep coming and going, and it's really kind of annoying when they could just make like small changes. Like with Kha'Zix, he snowballed incredibly hard. He dove really hard, and then they kind of made him not a good jungler out of nowhere. It's just what they did with them. And I guess it could just be like a meta shift too. Like I haven't really gone through the new items very much, and apparently things are going to change, but Do you guys remember season 2 ADCs? How ridiculously overpowered they were, how ridiculously snowbally they were? They could carry entire teams if their team could keep them off of them. ADCs were just fucking insane. And then season 3 came out and they changed everything. They nerfed lifesteal, they nerfed the AD items a little bit, I believe. And then they just kind of changed the stats around. And now you can see games where bot lane is almost completely irrelevant. Hell, right now, if you're not playing Twitch and Lucian, you're not playing an ADC that can really contribute a large amount to a game. I mean, yeah, you can get in a position with Ezreal or Caitlyn or some of the other ADCs, but you wouldn't be in such as good of a position if you had just been playing Lucian, you know, because Lucian fucking snowballs. He's just dumb as shit. That's what he does. So that's just my kind of gripe about the Riot Balance team, man. I feel like they either over nerf or they don't nerf enough. Like what they could have done is been like, let's say with Jax, because Jax is the most OP right now, or the most OP right now. He's picked or banned every fucking game. Everybody hates him, and people are picking him, and they'll be in a game and they'll be like, "This is my first game, Jax," and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, I just went 20-0," and it's just his team fight. It's the way that he works. It's so what they could do, maybe just to tone him down just a little bit so that he's not the top of the list anymore. They could either, I don't know, maybe tone down his empower damage just a tad bit so he's not hitting so much. It could be a passive thing. He's still one of the best tower killers in the game. You get on that tower, it's gonna go down damn quick. Once that passive is stacked all the way up, hell, I mean, Counter-Strike is 2 seconds of near invulnerability for everything except spell damage. That's kind of a deal. So there's a few things that make Jax turn. And then, of course, you know, his R makes him even tankier. So now you get this tanky guy that has a lot of lifesteal, a lot of damage, a lot of everything that everybody ever wants in a champion. And then you combine him into this, like, amazing duelist, a pretty decent team fighter. He's a super shit initiator. I'll give him. I'll take that right off the table. Jax is not an initiator. If Jax is your initiation on your team comp is fucked up. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Like they could tweak a lot of these small numbers. Just make small changes instead of, because what's probably going to happen is Jax is going to get a huge nerf and it's going to suck for people who like to play Jax like myself. But this is just what you see every freaking patch. It feels like somebody's getting neutered, and if somebody was going to get neutered, they just, like, if the community complains enough, they just fucking don't even do it. Like, okay, what was it not too long ago? Pantheon's ultimate range. They nerfed it pretty bad still, but they were talking about a ridiculously, what everybody was saying would become an unplayable Pantheon. So then they just kind of undid it all, and I don't know what they changed after that on him. But what was another example? When they were about to change Lee Sin, and people went fucking berserk. So berserk. Lee Sin has been overpowered since I started. Well, okay, I won't say he's been overpowered. He's been an incredibly good pick in the jungle, a decent pick in top lane. And I've always felt like Lee Sin is one of those champions that if you get good with him, you're just not gonna. If you get good with him, especially in the jungle, you can carry games with him a lot easier than other champions. And they were going to neuter the shit out of him. Like, they were gonna make his W use his entire energy bar. They were gonna make it so that he wasn't nearly as good as he is now. And then I think it was Monty just like wrote up this big, like, fucking dissertation on what would happen to the competitive scene or something like that if you nerfed Lee Sin. And then Riot was just like, oh, well, you know what, we're just not going to do that now. And then they made, like, minimal changes. It's like, come on. If you're going to nerf somebody, try tweaking them. So they tried to tweak Lee, and you actually still don't see him as much anymore. So maybe that tweak was just what they needed. But it's just kind of funny how, like, Riot is willing to just kind of bend to popular opinion, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I like I said, I'm not a pro league player. I don't know every 100% aspect of the game. This is just what I see. But the thing that I kind of don't like the most is that Riot focuses a hell of a lot more on only nerfing people. They don't focus on buffing people. And if something's too hard to balance, they just make it fucking Eve tier, like they did on S2. Like Evelyn was completely unplayable, 100% unplayable. If you played a game with her, everybody in the entire game was mad. You were like, "Oh my god, Eve's such trash. Why would you play that, man? This is the most trash fucking garbage ever." And then, it's not like that anymore, obviously. Eve is a playable champion and she's pretty good in the jungle. Um but there's champions that you don't see ever. Like Urgot is, I don't know. I don't think Urgot's bad, but he's certainly not good. He is certainly not good. Then you've got champions like, who else haven't I seen in forever? Fucking Sejuani. When's the last time you saw Sejuani in your game? When's the last time, I was gonna say 80 Scion, but I've been seeing a lot of 80 Scions coming back, so I'm not gonna say 80 Scion. Shit, man. There's just champions that you just don't see. And you'll see them eventually because what's going to happen is everybody's going to get nerfed below them. And then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing Cassiopeia mids everywhere. And then, I don't know, man. I just don't like it. I really don't. How they just keep nerfing everybody. Eventually everybody's going to be like a level 1 warrior with fucking long sword and cloth armor, no abilities, and you just have to sit there and auto attack. And I don't know, man. It's maybe there's just too many champions in League and it's just too hard to balance. Maybe I'm overlooking that aspect or something. But I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like and share down below. Please tweet it out to your friends. Share the Pie Nation. I'll be streaming tomorrow. I am going to stream tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be doing some Wildstar leveling. And I believe that's all I've got for you guys this week. I hope you all enjoyed the vlog. Sorry for skipping last week, but whenever it gets to Friday and I'm like, oh shit, I should vlog, I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna do it at that point in time. Sorry. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you for supporting me in the Pie Nation, and I hope you yeah, that's about it, guys. Take it easy. Peace.